My name is Lori-Lyn. I'm a writer, a painter, and an intuitive. This is normally when I say welcome to my studio, but today I'm not in my studio, I'm in my back garden. I'm here in the breeze and the leaves, listening to the birds. This is where I feel grounded and centered, and I come out here as often as I can in the mornings and the evenings whenever I need to feel aligned with what is beautiful and good and eternal. If you are feeling confused, depleted, or like things have just become too heavy, this is a message for you. Like everything I share with you here, if this message resonates with you, please take it, hold it, use it. If it doesn't, then just drop it and let it go. We've just been through this incredibly difficult time that has felt chaotic. The veil was pulled away. Every day we're seeing things that we couldn't see before. We have been called into this collective shadow work as well as individual shadow work, really diving inward and looking at ourselves, looking at the truth, allowing things to be while at the same time hoping to heal or transform them. When I look at the next 3 to 4 months, the time period that we face, I feel that energies are going to become more and more chaotic, that we are going to continue to feel and see things that are difficult. There are massive earth changes taking place, as well as societal changes, as well as the changes taking place inside of ourselves. It's big, it's a lot to carry. And I do think there is something we can do as we look toward this next passage of time that we're going to be moving through together as a collective and as individuals. There are things we can do to help that transition, to ease our energies, to become lighter for the journey. The image I have is all of us in these bubbles, like little spaceship bubbles that hover off the ground, and we're driving down the freeway. And so we're all on the freeway, we're all headed in the same direction, but we're also all in our little bubbles. I think this is a wonderful time for assessment, for self-assessment, for asking yourself, what is too heavy to carry? And what am I walking toward? What do I want the world to look like? What am I creating? And we are all creating. We are all co-creating in this life. No one can predict the future because the future isn't set in stone. It's malleable. It's changing all the time. And it's changing based on our own energy and intention and where we are directing it. I think it's a great disservice that happened when someone came up with the idea that thoughts create reality, or your thoughts become things. Your thoughts are nothing to fear. Your thoughts are not creating reality. You can think whatever you think. It is more about, I believe, our belief and our energy and our focus and what we are feeling. Primarily, what is being brought into our world and what we are experiencing is about our feeling and our ability to read that inner compass, to listen to that inner voice of guidance, redirect our energy. There is certainly such a thing as toxic positivity. I think sometimes the idea of positive thinking has also taken us down a destructive or not so healthy path, because the idea of, high vibes only or positive thoughts only, that causes you to deny or suppress a whole range of things that you are feeling and experiencing. It causes you to label your feelings as good or bad. The light and dark exists within us. The shadow is a part of us. We do ourselves and the world no service when we deny what is true for us, or the things that need to be transformed or healed or brought into the light. But certainly there are some energies that feel heavier than others. Guilt, shame, fear, jealousy. These things feel much heavier in the energy body, in the heart, than love, hope, compassion, which feel much lighter. So I believe that in addition to doing the inner work that we're doing, acknowledging what is happening and taking action where we need to, the other thing that is really important for us to do right now is release and transform the heavier energies so that we feel enlightened, so that we feel lighter for this next part of our journey into the future. There's a particular person, and you know who I'm talking about, who embodies the very worst of us. He embodies all of these heavy and extremely heavy emotions and thoughts. He embodies all of this heaviness, cruelty, meanness, pettiness, jealousy, selfishness, greed, fear. Now is the time for us to pull our energy back away from him. It's very tempting. It's almost impossible to avoid going onto Twitter to see, what did he say today? What did he do today? Or reading the latest post on Facebook about visions of a doomsday future, the very worst things that could possibly happen. And when we do that, we get caught in that energy. It pulls us down. It causes us to become very heavy. Not only are we feeding what we don't want, we're feeding this anxiety and this fear and this anger and this meanness, but we are then depleting our own energies and bringing our own energy down to a very heavy level. And the thing that we need to be doing right now is releasing all of that so that we can move forward with as much lightness as possible. It doesn't mean that we don't take action. It doesn't mean that we turn a blind eye to what is happening. We can be very well informed about what is happening and what we need to do, and we can take those actions, but we don't need to have all these energy cords connecting us to the very worst, heaviest feelings, situations, or visions of the future that are out there. In fact, I think this is the time for us to envision an incredibly bright future. This is the time for us to use our imaginations and begin to dream a future that maybe a year ago we wouldn't have even thought was possible. It's a time to have that kind of vision and imagination for ourselves as individuals, but also ourselves as a society and a collective. Now is the time to look forward in the light. And part of this has to do with simply letting go of what we wish other people would do. Something that I can get very caught up in is trying to figure out why does he have supporters? Why do they still support him? Why are people susceptible to QAnon? Why do people believe these things? There's really no need for me to do that. There's nothing good comes of me wondering about that. What I need to do is pull my energy away from other people, let other people be who they are, and let me be who I am and aligned with my truth and what I want to do and envision the future that I want to be living in. We'll all go there at our own pace. We will all come to our understandings at our own pace. We are all on individual journeys. I don't know why you're here on Earth. You don't know why I'm here on Earth. I do know that we are here to love one another, support one another, and dream this world into being. So if you were sitting with me here today in my garden and we were sharing a cup of tea, I probably would have baked something for you. So imagine like your favorite cupcakes or cookies, the banana bread that I would have here on the table for you. And we would be listening to the birds and watching the occasional butterfly. The advice that I would give to you is to cut your energy cords to anything that feels too heavy. So again, I'm not saying that you should not do your inner work or not do your shadow work. I am not suggesting that you spiritually bypass anything that you need to deal with, look at, or acknowledge. But what I am suggesting is a sort of blanket forgiveness. Just deciding that you are not going to carry the heaviness forward. If there is a relationship that has felt unjust to you, if there is a wound or something way back in your past that you have carried with you, I guess what I'm talking about are grudges. If you are carrying any grudges in your heart, if you are carrying any resentment in your heart, if you still feel shame or guilt over anything in the past, even if the past was yesterday, anything you're carrying that feels too heavy, that feels like this is too heavy to put in my little bubble car and go down the freeway, I need to lighten my load. Lighten your load. Let it go. Just let it go and bring that energy back to yourself. If that means not watching the news or staying off of Twitter for a couple of days, listening to your body, how does it feel when I'm on Facebook reading these articles? If it feels bad, if it feels heavy, pull away. You're not in denial. You know what's happening. You're well informed, and you're going to make actions. You're going to take actions based on that information. But what I'm talking about is energetically, in your own personal energy and in your heart, just putting down everything that's too heavy and letting that divine light wash through you and bring those energy cords in for the next part of this journey. So that when we are moving through that which feels chaotic, when we are moving through things that we don't know how this could possibly resolve, instead of getting pulled down into our darkest thoughts, instead of getting pulled down into worst case scenario, we are filled with a buoyant light that allows us to float forward into the mysterious and beautiful, glistening future. Now is the time for us to imagine that future, where we want to go and what we want to build. And we need to take care of this energetic vessel so that it is roadworthy. I'll see you on the freeway. I'll wave to you from my little bubble. All of my love to you. Thank you very much for being with me here today in my garden and when you visit me in my studio. It means so much to me when I see that someone has watched one of these videos. You can help me by clicking the like button or subscribing to the channel or sharing this work with someone you think might like it. I hope that you find these videos educational, inspirational, or at the very least entertaining. And I am always open to your questions and suggestions for things that you would like to see here, things that you would like for me to talk about here. I love you very much, and I believe in our future. Take care.